Hi, welcome to the Taco Podcast. I'm about to die. Today we're reading 12 questions that have been submitted by you, the viewers. First question that has been asked. Now, I want to put a disclaimer out there. This is not for every child that is on the autism spectrum. This is only our answers pertaining to our son who is on the spectrum. All right? So these may obviously differ from a lot of people who are out there. So do not take this as, oh, that answer fits this person. First question: Will your child ever talk normally?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Is he always going to have the unclear speech patterns? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an honest answer. I mean, he's vastly better than the where he has been in the past, but I don't have the answer to that.
No, I don't either. Yeah.
All right, next question. Is your child over or under sensitive to certain sounds, textures, or smells? Hell yes.
And it all depends, and every person's different, neurotypical or neurodivergent. Some people, it and it depends on how you're feeling that day too. If you're tired, if you're already stressed or overwhelmed, sometimes, something that wouldn't normally bother you bothers you a lot, and it's the same for neurotypical and neurodivergent people.
Yeah, I mean, just think about your own life. I mean, as an individual, I mean, you've been in situations where it's like you've just had it, and the last thing you want to do is go to a rave after you've had just enough of the day, or hear flashing lights or blasting noises, things that would upset you too if you're on a neurotypical individual. So think of it that way.
And some people, especially some neurodivergent people, go through periods where they're sensory seeking. There's a principle of essentially positive stress, an amount of sensation or input or pressure that allows you to be your most productive, as opposed to impeding your ability to function. And some people feel that for sensory seeking neurodivergent people, that is what they're looking for. They're looking for that positive stress, positive input, pressure that allows them to to I don't want to say optimize, but that's
Okay. Next question is there a cure to their disability? That's exactly how it's worded. Is there a cure to their disability?
Oh, that's how it was worded. Okay. No, autism is genetic. There's not a cure.
If it's genetic, doesn't acetaminophen cause it?
I will hit you.
I mean, the head of the health department says that it is. That's how it's caused. See, a pain reliever changed the genetics. Okay, I'm sorry. She's going to have to murder me for reading the question and saying that.
No. Acetaminophen doesn't cause autism.
Acetaminophen doesn't cause it, and there is not a cure, and nor do we look at the barriers that our son has as a disability. He is just as capable as any other child. He may need a little bit more structure. He may need a little bit more time, but he is not disabled, nor does anyone who has autism or Down syndrome or anything else that we see it as a disability. They have barriers. They do not have a disability. At least in my view, I'm sure that you would agree vastly with that as well.
Something to note, though, is that different people in the community, some people refer to themselves as disabled, and that's fine.
Yeah, for themselves.
That's how people want to refer to themselves is how you should refer to people.
You want to refer to yourself as purple, blue, an alien, a banana.
I think you're taking it to a different...
I know, but if you want to refer to yourself as, I'm a banana. I sometimes look at myself as a peach.
Okay.
All right,
the point is different people in the autism community refer to themselves in different ways, and how somebody wants to be referred should be respected, because there's no
Yeah.
one appropriate way. There,
Ask them. Communication.
yeah,
I'm telling you, this world will get a lot farther if you sit down and talk with people. You know, I know some. I know her. We both agree with this. I have friends who are on one side of the political aisle versus mine, and come in a dead set fest. Set into that, and I'm over here. Or in between, because I have no allegiance with any one political party. But if I sit down and talk with them, person to person, they're more likely to come to an understanding and respect my view, and I'm able to view and see and respect their view as well. Just like someone who may be on the autism spectrum, sit down and talk with them, and ask them, how do you see yourself? Do you see it? Just have an open dialogue. All right, next one. Will your child eat foods that touch other foods?
yeah, he doesn't seem to mind.
A little bit. He's getting a little picky with his breakfast foods. He doesn't want his bacon or sausage to touch other foods like his French toast or waffles or pancakes.
Yeah, that's because you're going to get syrup on it.
Yeah.
You don't want
But he doesn't like that. I mean, but no, otherwise, no. It doesn't have to be in their own separate compartments. He used to be that way. But I know now he just has everything on a plate, like, it's a kid plate, Spider-Man. But it's still a plate, like a normal plate, and it's not compartmentalized. All right, next question. How do you tell when someone is hurting you? Sorry, let me start over. How do you tell when something is hurting your child when they're nonverbal? That is a very good question.
Yeah.
And it is definitely something that we have definitely struggled with when it comes to our son. He is not, what's the best way to put it? He struggles with being able to express emotions. A lot of time, at least he was. Now, man, when that boy's happy, and he's always happy.
Such a happy boy.
He is so happy. He's happy. When he's sad, it's over exaggerated, sadness. He's, what's the way, dramatic? It's like, he's like, when he has the lows and he's sad, I'm going to throw myself on the floor and I'm going to die. He's so far over, but you have to kind of figure out, by being around them, you understand where they're actually at, by, again, communication. It goes a long ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, communication's not just verbal.
Yeah, just being in the feeling and seeing the situation and understanding it definitely helps a lot. All right, next question. Does your child use gestures like pointing or waving to show interest?
Yeah, lots of people do. Neurotypical and neurodivergent people. I'll bite your finger.
I like her. This may be the last episode. She may kill me after this one. I'm pushing the edge right now. All right. Next question. Does your child engage in repetitive motor movements like hand flapping? I do not know what that is. What is hand flapping?
It's, kind of just like flapping your hands around. Some children do that.
Some children do that. Mm-hmm. I've never seen that. Do we know of any child that does that?
Yeah.
I'll edit that out. I have seen brother do something like that, but I didn't know is that something that is typical?
Yeah, it's not just hand movements, sometimes it's like leg or foot movements or stuff like that, it's just like it's like a self-soothing thing.
Does he do repetitive movements though? I don't think I've never seen our son do things repetitively. not in like a movement part. I mean, he does a lot of other things repetitively, like listen to
Yeah, he
sound
does, but
bites
it's
or
not like that.
clips or stuff like that. I've seen him do that a lot.
It's the same root thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess yes to answer to that. Next question. When did your child first babble, use words, or start walking if you can remember? Was it delayed? That's serious. When did your child first babble, use words, or start walking? What does verbal communication have to do with motor skill? I don't know. I'm not making fun of the person who sent in this question, though. If you can remember, was it delayed? Well, I mean, he's been speech delayed. You know, he
Yeah, well,
didn't really
it's
necessarily start talking, and when he did, he used sounds to in place of words. But I mean, other children do that as well, that are neurotypical.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, but he's speech delayed right now is what they call him from with it's not therapeutic or educational level or whatever they would call that. They say he's speech delayed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But sorry, I don't think we've really answered that one because I'm not sure if I really understand the question. Next question. Have you ever considered medication to help your child's lack of ability to pay attention, ADHD meds? I don't think my son has any lack of ability to pay attention.
No, I think, well, ADHD, I think, is actually kind of commonly comorbid with autism.
Yeah, and a lot.
Yeah, they're not the same. And I think personally, I think for a lot of autistic kids, the root reason why they may have difficulty focusing is different than the root reason why kids with ADHD might have difficulty focusing. Medication works for some people. Medication is not anything that we're looking at currently because, uh, well, that's a good way to phrase it. It's not that he can't, it's that he doesn't want to.
Well, he comes from a very stubborn, household. So
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to make it if you want him to focus in on something, you just have to make it appealing enough to get
yeah,
past his stubbornness and then he'll just lock right in.
he absolutely hates doing math in school. But this week they've changed it up so he has the ability to focus more on it without the distractions around him, and he's acing it. I mean, he's knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, if you
But,
tell him he can play Daniel Tiger for half an hour after he gets his math homework done, that's
yeah,
done.
yeah, and it's not like he rushed through it and just writes down or does anything. He knows it. He just doesn't want to because again, comes from a stubborn household. Now, back to the ADHD and autism. There are, as we both can agree, that there are overlapping symptoms between the two.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, especially if the practitioner who is diagnosing one or the other, they can see both of those disorders or those issues within a child, and they may prescribe medication for one, and it may help the other, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the child has both. At least that's my take. Your take? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. What rewards work best to motivate them?
Time on the computer.
Yeah. Anything electronic. If I gave him a screwdriver and told him he could take apart the television, he would take apart the television. Just to see how it looks inside and how it works and everything else. But generally, anything computer, tablet, a phone, anything where he can make and edit, videos. But because that's his, or music. Music works too.
Hmm.
Excuse me.
He does enjoy music.
He does. He definitely enjoys it. But those are his avenues to communicating with the world around him, where he doesn't feel like he's being judged as much. At least that's my view of it, because he's making these videos and other kids that are watching it as well. So it's kind of like his his groove, I guess you could say at this point. Will it be forever? I don't know. Tomorrow afternoon, I have no idea what he's going to decide. Tomorrow it could be like all he wants to do is be a baseball player. He's 9. We got to let him be a child. All right. Next one. How does your child handle change in routines or moving between activities?
As long as he has advance notice.
Oh, yeah.
And you remind him. So it's, you can't just be like, hey, next week we're doing X. You know, he can be pretty good. If he's well rested, I don't want to say good. That's kind of a value laden word. Well, he handles it well if he's well rested. He's been reminded. And we're not taking away a routine of something that he enjoys a lot. If the new routine, if the change in routine is going to interrupt something he looks forward to every week,
Yeah.
nah, we're just going to schedule around that.
Unless it has to do with a hotel.
Oh, he loves staying in hotels.
There is just something about cheap hotels. I know, I'm going to leave it there, cheap hotels, because there's probably people out there who work for them or are fans of them. But he loves those cheap hotels. We go to a hotel. You tell him in 2 months from now, we're going on vacation. He wants to know which hotel we're going to. Why are we staying at that hotel? What does that hotel have? He wants to know everything about that hotel, and he wants to stay in that hotel. Yeah. You may question the quality or the value of such hotel. He never thinks about that. He wants to stay at the top of the top hotel and the bottom of the bottom hotel. He wants that experience.
We go on vacation, and it's not about the vacation for him. It's about the hotel we're staying in.
Yep. Yeah,
And he includes everything in hotels, even like Airbnbs and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
We went to We went to a place.
Yeah, live.
We went to a place last year, and we'd rented an Airbnb when we were visiting. It was a cute little Airbnb too. Anyways, he calls that a hotel also. And he got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I think he got a kick out of that one too because it was a really good deal. And we got a place with a fair number of rooms, so like almost everybody got their own room. Yeah. And,
I wasn't there.
Yeah, and I think he liked that too because normally when we're traveling, because we travel cheap, so like we're piling everybody in the family. We're getting 2 queens, double, triple up in the bed. Somebody's taking a couch. I ain't paying for more than one room.
I'm never there. No, don't say never, but I mean, I'm rarely there. But they love to travel to places and do events that don't interest me. I'm not going to hunt down a cryptid.
Cryptids, yes, cryptids.
Cryptids? Yeah, I'm not into that kind of stuff. Now, if you guys want to go on a serial killer hunt,
I'm not taking my child to a serial killer hunt.
Why not? Look, to each their own, right? But he really does love and look forward to staying in the hotels. That is one of the things in this. He's always been that way. Hotel. And yeah, he looks forward to it very much. So let's see. Anything else you want to add before we wrap this up today? Crystal's going to go take a nap.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I had the flu.
She had the flu. Try, I don't have the flu. I don't want the flu. And I'm not going to take a nap. I have to work. So, all right. This is the end of the episode.
You stay safe out there.
Again, my line. You stay safe out there.